So hey guys, recently, as most of my LEGO Dimensions videos start nowadays, I was inspired by a comment from one of the previous LEGO Dimensions videos. And this comment comes from John McIntyre? Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your last name, but anyways, he says maybe I should do a LEGO Dimensions video for Christmas. I know it's a little late. Anyways, moving on, he also says that that video should be my top 10 franchises I'd love to see in a LEGO Dimensions sequel. I know this video is coming out a little late for Christmas, but this is an amazing idea. So in the spirit of Christmas, I am making a selfish wish list of everything I want. Oh, also this video is kind of a gift to you guys because 2,000 subscribers. Thank you so much. I'm gonna make a subscriber special soon after this video. Now I'm splitting this idea into two videos kind of. This video is about franchises that LEGO has already made sets for and stuff, but hasn't included in LEGO Dimensions. And then if this video does well and you guys really enjoy it, I'll make a sequel video about franchises that aren't in LEGO yet that should be in LEGO Dimensions. So without further ado, here are my top 10 LEGO franchises I want to see in LEGO Dimensions 2. Now how I'm going to do this little list is I'm going to go through each franchise and I'm going to talk about one pack from the franchise with its character and vehicle and all the abilities they have. I'm going to pretend that LEGO Dimensions 2 is Toys to Life, even though I'd rather it just be a regular LEGO game. Also, I'm telling you now, this is my personal opinion list. Some of these will be obvious picks, while other ones will be really weird and very specific to me, as you'll see in a second. So time to kick off this long list with number 10. Alright, so this pick is an almost impossible request for LEGO. It's an old franchise, it's an unsuccessful franchise, it's a franchise that LEGO probably has cut ties with, being that the owners of the franchise don't work with LEGO anymore to make any more LEGO sets. This owner being Nickelodeon, if that gives you any hints. No, it's not SpongeBob. No, it's not TMNT. I am going to the bottom of the barrel in LEGO sets and asking for Avatar: The Last Airbender. I've been wanting to talk about this show because I've watched it recently, and man is it good. In college, everybody was talking about it, so I checked it out recently this break. I loved it. I've wanted a chance to talk about it, and this is my chance to say this is an amazing show. You should go check it out. But yeah, I want to bring Avatar back to LEGO because I think it would do pretty well and its characters fit very well into the LEGO Dimensions formula. Now, an obvious choice for the pack that I talk about for this franchise would be Aang and Appa, but I wanted to get a little more creative, and also I had trouble coming up with abilities for Aang without making him too OP or too underpowered. The balancing would be really hard, but I think it could be really fun. The one pack I want to discuss, though, that's a little more creative, would be Katara and Sokka Team Pack. Katara would obviously have her water bending abilities and would use her water whip as a grapple, as well as do like other water stuff like plant growth and the water target thingies. I don't know what they're called. Sokka would also be amazing because he'd have his trusty boomerang to do those Batman boomerang locks, as well as his space sword to do those sword locks that came out like later in LEGO Dimensions life. You know the ones. Also, it'd be really fun to give Sokka the intelligence ability because Sokka is a genius and you can't prove me otherwise. The vehicles would be the hard part of Avatar just because they don't really have many vehicles in their universe. The couple that I picked that would work really well would be one of Sokka's submarines maybe, and a water tribe ship. Yeah, it's hard to choose vehicles for Avatar. It's not known for its vehicles, but I'd love to see this. Okay, moving on. Number 9. This next choice is a bit more likely, although it's not as well known as the other themes. This next franchise I'd love to see is LEGO Overwatch. Well, I haven't played Overwatch in a while. The characters are some of the most fun and creative I have ever seen. The obvious character choice for this pack would be Tracer, who's the mascot of the franchise, and would have the ability to do the agility things, like the parkour. Parkour! She'd be able to shoot targets with her guns, because obviously it's a shooter, and she'd be able to blow up silver objects with her bomb. I don't remember if the bomb has a name, but yeah, the bomb she has. She'd also be able to teleport short distances, like in the custom character creator of LEGO Marvel Super Heroes 2. I'm not sure if any other characters have that ability, but it'd be really fun to just teleport around as her. Now, her build in her fun pack would be very interesting because one thing thing I noticed in the original LEGO Dimensions that always fascinated me is the Niffler build and the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them story pack. Instead of being a normal build, which is usually a rideable vehicle or animal, or maybe an interactable inanimate object, the Niffler acted like a playable character. And I'd love to incorporate this playable character build idea into future builds for LEGO Dimensions 2, because there are a lot of big figure characters and maybe buff characters that wouldn't really fit very well as a minifigure, and this would be the perfect way to represent them. So, for Tracer's side build, I would love to give her her best friend Winston, the monkey.
Monkey.
Winston would be able to break down big barriers like most big figures can, and he'd be able to electrify objects with his electricity gun. Also, keep this playable side build idea in mind because it will come up a little bit more in some other packs later on in this list. I also feel like it's an amazing idea and I would love to see more of it. Anyways, moving on. Number 8. The next character I'd love to see is from LEGO Movie 2 and is General Sweet Mayhem. Although in my version of LEGO Dimensions 2, LEGO Movie 1 and LEGO Movie 2 will be combined into one dimension with their characters and costumes updating accordingly, I think Sweet Mayhem would be a great addition to the cast that comes from the LEGO Movie franchise. Her abilities would include shooting targets with her guns, boomerang stars, exploding hearts, as you can see here, that destroy silver objects, build and destroy rainbow objects. She'd be a master builder, and finally, fly. Her side build would probably be her spaceship, although Queen Whatever Wanabe could also be an amazing side build, but she'd be a little too overpowered because there are many forms. Also, I would have loved to add Rex Danger Vest to this list. However, I'm saving him for a different LEGO Dimensions video in the works. Moving on. Number 7. This next choice is from one of my favorite childhood movies and is incredibly likely to be in LEGO Dimensions 2. The only reason that it's lower on this list is I have way better ideas and a little bit more fun franchises, but this franchise is Toy Story, and it's many sequels. Of course, the characters that I would have to represent Toy Story would be a team pack with Buzz and Woody. Woody would be able to have the grappler ability with his pull string, and Buzz would be able to shoot lasers unlike his in-universe toy counterpart. His lasers would obviously melt gold. I also thought it'd be fun to give them both the stealth ability where they'd hide under the traffic cones. I know Woody wasn't necessarily in that scene, but it'd be still really funny and it would be a fun callback. They'd also both have agility because, strangely enough, both these toys are very agile and do amazing feats. Woody's vehicle would be RC, pretty standard, and Buzz's vehicle would either be a Space Ranger rocket, like the box he comes in, or the rocket that Sid uses to almost blow him up. Also, Buzz can fly in this game and not just fall with style, although if I had Sid's rocket in it, it'd probably also allow other users to fly. I don't know. It could be fun. Moving on. Number 6. This next franchise is one that LEGO could easily do, but it would also be a fun, nostalgic surprise. Might I recommend LEGO adds Clutch Powers.
The Clutch Powers?
If you don't know, Clutch Powers is from the first full-length LEGO movie to exist, even before the LEGO movie itself, surprisingly. Although this movie's pretty old and chock full of outdated LEGO themes like Space Police, Power Miners, Agents, and Knights, I think adding Clutch Powers to LEGO Dimensions would make so many fans happy. Also, we'd use his appearance from his original movie and not when he appears in the Ninjago series, because I feel like that'll be a little more nostalgic and fun. He'd be able to use the tracking ability with his archaeological skills, dig with his Power Miner equipment. He'd be able to illuminate rooms with his flashlight that he uses when he's working with the Space Police, and it would be super fun to also give him the Master Build ability, because even though he technically isn't a Master Builder from the LEGO movie, he does exhibit Master Builder qualities countless times in his movie. His vehicle would be the agent's car that he drives. Not much to say there. Moving on to number 5. This is another Pixar franchise that everyone really loves and holds in a way higher regard than Toy Story. This franchise is Incredibles. Now, I had trouble picking characters, but I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have Mr. Incredible and Elastigirl Team Pack. Mr. Incredible would obviously have super strength to be able to break down walls. He'd also be able to hack into computers, much like he does in Syndrome's base when he uses the password Chronos. Elastigirl would be able to use her arms as grappling hooks. She'd also be able to fit through those grates that you have to squeeze through. Their vehicles would obviously be Mr. Incredible's car and Elastigirl's bike. Moving on. Number 4. This franchise is incredibly well known and is incredibly successful in LEGO and is loved by everyone. Although creating the world of this franchise would be hard, we don't have to worry about that because we're just talking about the packs. And this franchise is Minecraft. It would sell so well. The character would obviously be Steve from Minecraft. It could be a team pack with Steve and Alex, although they're basically just reskins. So we could give Steve the ability to switch to Alex at will. Steve would be able to dig with his shovel, blow up silver objects with TNT, illuminate rooms with torches, destroy strength walls with his pickaxe, maybe? I wanted to find a use for his pickaxe. And finally, open sword switches with his sword, obviously. His vehicle would probably be, I don't know, a horse, I'm not really sure. I guess another build could be a playable creeper, which you could use to walk into and explode silver objects. Moving on. Number 3. Now, I had trouble picking a Marvel rep. It'd be really easy to do an Iron Man and Captain America team pack, although I've had a lot of team packs in this list, and I also wanted to be a little more creative. My pick for Marvel, of course, would be the 3rd member and 4th member of the Avengers, a Thor fun pack with Hulk as the side build. Thor would be able to power objects with his lightning, do boomerang locks with Mjolnir, also of course he'd be able to fly. Hulk would be super fun because he'd be able to break down super strength walls as well as go through toxic waste. Where the fun begins is Hulk could also be rebuilt into other versions of Hulk, like Gladiator Hulk or Mafia Hulk. He could also have like red or gray color styles, which would match like his red and gray versions in the comics. Moving on to number 2. Alright, this is a franchise everyone loves, but it desperately needs minifigures. Although the home company of this character is very protective of their icon, I think it would be a very perfect choice for LEGO Dimensions. This franchise is Super Mario and would have a Mario level pack. Although I think Nintendo doesn't want Mario to be playable on other consoles, I bet they could make an exception. Mario would have his own level pack, as I said. Of course, it'd start with World 1-1, move on to different games and stuff, and just showcase Mario history, much like Sonic's level pack. I based Mario's abilities off of his Smash Bros. Appearances because Smash neatly compiles all of Mario's greatest feats. Mario would be able to throw fireballs and destroy silver objects with them. He'd also be able to use his Flood Pack from Mario Sunshine, which would allow him to do water puzzles as well as clean up toxic waste. Finally, he'd have his cape, which would allow him to reflect lasers and maybe fly. Mario would have a bonus that most characters don't have, which is just a higher jump than other characters. This isn't really a special ability that allows him to solve puzzles, it's just a fun thing to add. His first vehicle would be Yoshi. Yoshi would be a really fun playable character, but instead I think he'd just be a rideable one, just because he's rideable in the games. Plus, it'd be really funny to give Yoshi's tongue the ability to act like a grappling hook. The second vehicle would be Mario Kart. Anyways, moving on to number 1. The top LEGO franchise that I want in LEGO Dimensions is, drumroll please, Star Wars. This is my favorite idea so far. It's not the best character abilities-wise, but it is the best character that covers Star Wars. Because it's hard to pick out just one character to represent all of Star Wars. If you have Luke, you gotta have Leia and Han. And if you have Han, you gotta have Chewie. And if you have all 4, you might as well have R2-D2 and C-3PO. And what about Vader and Ben Kenobi? The list adds up. And that's just for the OG trilogy. If you wanted to represent prequel fans, they'd want Anakin and Obi-Wan. If you wanted to make sequel fans happy, you'd have to have Rey. If you want to make Clone Wars fans happy, you'd have to have Ahsoka. But I found one character that connects all the trilogies as well as all the spin-offs together because he has interacted with almost all of the characters. You know him. You love him. It is the Mandalorian. He is the perfect choice and possibly would be the only Star Wars character you need. And yes, I was inspired by his appearance in this kid's game that everyone likes to make fun of for some reason, but you gotta admit, he's the perfect character. Mando would be able to shoot targets with his many guns, grapple with his wire thingy, he'd be able to fly with his, spoilers, jetpack, he'd be able to melt ice with his fire blast, and finally he'd be able to reflect lasers with his impenetrable armor. I was having trouble deciding between if he'd be a level pack or a fun pack, because I have two build ideas, but one of them makes a little less sense than the other one. The one guaranteed build that would work would be the Razor Crest, which is his spaceship, but the other one would be a playable Baby Yoda, who would do magic stuff. Anyways, thank you guys for watching my top 10 franchises for LEGO Dimensions 2. I have a couple other LEGO Dimensions videos in the works, but for now, this should be good. If you want to see my top 10 franchises that aren't in LEGO for LEGO Dimensions 2, be sure to like this video. And if you disagree with my list right here, comment below and list your top 10 franchises from LEGO that you want to see in LEGO Dimensions. Thanks again for getting me to 2,000 subscribers, and I'll see you all in the next video.